All the top pilots in the world are here. There's no one else.
I've dreamed of an opportunity like this.
I'm very passionate about racing.
There's bound to be tensions that rise.
We don't back down.
I just have big aspirations to be the fastest in the world.
Put the goggles on, you're inside of the Matrix, and you can do what you can imagine.
This is DR1 Racing, presenting the DHL Champions Series, fueled by Mountain Dew, the elite drone racing championship that pits the world's greatest pilots against Mother Nature and epic outdoor locations throughout Europe. Whether it's battling through mountain forests, traversing castles, or plunging down rock faces, our pilot skills will be tested like never before as they compete for seasonal points on bespoke tracks. Waiting for them at race 6 is our series final, staged around the 41-story post tower in Bonn, Germany, where one team will win $50,000 and walk away champions.
We have the best locations ever.
All the top pilots in the world are here.
You never know what's going to happen. Sometimes the underdog takes the win.
The competition is so fierce, it doesn't get any better than this.
At the last race, the 2018 season opened in style in the skies surrounding this majestic French medieval chateau. And it played host to epic aerial battles, spectacular crashes, and the first ever race of the almighty Pro-Class drone. FlightONE were crowned Race 1 winners, but they were taken all the way to the final race by Team Rebel. So it's time for race 2. We've left Western France behind, traveled over 1,500 kilometers east, and arrived in the heart of the Slovenian Alps. The snow has melted and given way to an unforgiving mountainside that has been turned into an aerial race course like no other. Get ready to witness flawless racing and immense dogfights between 15 mini-quads and the returning Pro-Class drone. Practice has just finished, and FlightONE's Alex Vanover is on hand to give us a first look at this breathtaking circuit.
Hey guys, I'm Alex Vanover here with Team FlightONE at this awesome location in Slovenia. We're here on an awesome ski slope with a really intense track, and I'm going to take you guys through it right now. So we do a full throttle start into the start gate. Now it's full throttle up the ski slope. This is almost 5 seconds full throttle and a hard right turn, then a hard left turn into the forest section of the course where we beeline it full throttle over the lifts, and then we go straight into a TBS gate, hard left around the trees, then a hard right, and then into a slalom section into the final DR1 gate, and then straight back towards the start. Some things about the track that I like. First off, it's a very fast track. I like going up the ski slope. It's just really an adrenaline rush. That's a fun section. Then we go over the ski lifts, which in my opinion are my favorite parts of the track right there, doing a hard 180 split S into the Team Black Sheep gate. You go through the TBS gate, then a hard left around the trees. That's part of what I usually fly back home in Texas, so that's a really cool element for me. Then you got a little bit of a slalom section where you go through a top gate around a TBS white marker on the ground and then back into what is probably the most challenging gate on this entire track. It's basically coming in at a 45-degree angle, and if you mess that gate up, you're gonna smack the metal and then you're gonna roll down the whole hill onto rocks. It's not gonna be a fun day for you. So you gotta really watch your speed, make sure you don't come at it too high speed or you're gonna smack the side of the gate and probably break all your stuff. So that's your track walkthrough, guys, and I hope you enjoy the race.
Alex was pivotal in securing FlightONE's win in race 1, securing the maximum seasonal points. Right behind them in second are the consistent flyers of Team Rebel, and in third are the erratic Team Uvify, led by 14-year-old Min-Chan Kim. And it's these two teams who are preparing to face off in Heat 1.
Race 1 was interesting, to say the least.
Our team crashed a lot, but so sad. We will try to win next race.
I tried to push it a little too hard for my consistency.
Being the first race, we wanted to come out swinging and let everyone know that we mean business.
I think this is going to be strong track for my flying style for sure. I'm very good at finding the right line to take in open spaces where it's maybe not as obvious what line to take.
Racing around the castle, it was absolutely mind-melting. Here was this structure that nobody had ever flown before. It had never been adventured. I always knew that we had a very strong chance, but I was surprised that our strategy had worked so well to get us above all the rest. I'm right at home. The mountains are my backyard. That's where I go to play. That's where I grew up flying, and that's where I did long range.
You don't get opportunities like this every day, so we're gonna do our best and come out with a W. Our strategy for this race is don't crash. Simple as that.
Well, it's time to start. The pilots are in the pits, and to take us through all the action, a man that knows Formula E, Formula One, esports, and now drone racing is Jack Nicholls.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. Well, we are nearly 2,000 meters above sea level, and we are set for a great day of racing. 5 teams, every team will race each other once, and there's 2 pilots from each team in each race. You get 10 points for the win, 0 points if you crash out, and at the end of the 10th and final heat, the 2 teams with the most points will square off in the final. In Heat 1, it's Uvify's Min-Chan Kim and Corey Kasaba up against Rebels' James McGee and Bryce Prestwich. There you can see the Rebel guys getting ready, and there are Uvify as we get ready for this 4-lap race, 1 mandatory pit stop, and we're underway. Really quick start from Min-Chan Kim, his teammate Corey Kasaba here at the back. You'll see the 2 red drones flash past. That's James McGee and Bryce Prestwich. They're in 2nd and 3rd. Oh, and then into the gate goes Corey Kasaba. Well, they wanted to try not to crash this race, and Kasaba has crashed immediately. That means Min-Chan Kim out in the lead with McGee and Prestwich behind him. Kasaba putting his goggles back on to try and rectify something as Min-Chan Kim comes through again. Comfortably clear, and there is Kasaba. Here's a look at the replay on board. Comes down into this gate that takes him into the forest section and hits both sides, I think, and then tumbles down. And not the way Kasaba wanted to start the race. In the pits, Min-Chan Kim. James McGee has come in as well for their mandatory pit stop on lap 3 of 4. Here we are with Kim. Won every single one of his heats last time out in France. Scored 12 more points than his 2 teammates combined over the course of that first race. Here he comes over the chairlift, ducking back under, and then through this slalom section. Right, round the marker, through the gate, and now to start the final lap of the first heat. James McGee there in 2nd, he's standing, Bryce Prestwich sitting as they race their drones around the Slovenian Alps, but here comes Min-Chan Kim. 1 more gate to go, there it is, and there's the win. Very strong performance. Not exactly buzzing with that victory, is he? But it is only the first race of the day. James McGee comes out of the final gate and across the line in 2nd place, and it's 3rd across the line for Bryce Prestwich. 2nd and 3rd for the Rebels, and a little high five. Their consistency continues.
Good race, dude. Good job.
So 2nd and 3rd for James McGee and Bryce Prestwich, but a win and a DNF for Team Uvify. They've got mixed emotions, and they're with Imi.
Well done, Team Uvify. Min-Chan, a win from you. How was it out there?
My first race today, so I have a little bit nervous, but it was a great race.
Well, your nerves certainly didn't show because you managed to get in there first. But Corey, what happened to you? Crashing out just like that, hey?
Yeah, I was just kind of like hanging back, just taking it easy, and I saw everyone go through that 2nd gate. So I kind of turned around, and then I just hit it the 2nd time.
We will just focus to finish the race because for the get a point, but I think we'll be good for next time, yeah.
So after just 1 heat, Rebel are top by 4 points, and both teams are continuing the same form as race 1. Team Rebel putting consistent points on the board, and Uvify winning, yet crashing. Make sure you don't go anywhere, because in Heat 2, we'll see the return of FlightONE and their all-star pilots, Sean Taylor and Alex Vanover. See you soon.
Since the dawn of man, we've looked to the sky, yearning to soar like the birds, gods, winged beasts, and the angels. Then in 1903, man achieved the power of flight. followed by a line of daring pilots that set out to conquer the skies. And now, you. Introducing the Archangel, a world-class, ready-to-fly racing drone powered by refined FPV components and balanced for all skill levels. From its beginner angle mode to expert acro mode, a true warrior in the skies. The Archangel's sleek design with advanced chip onboard LED lighting leaves no question about its location on the track, giving you the opportunity to crush the competition and take you to victory. Archangel, take flight.
Welcome back to the DR1 Champions Series, the elite drone racing championship that defies belief. With 5 teams going head-to-head around unbelievable outdoor tracks with a $50,000 prize awaiting the winner. We're only one heat down in race 2 here in the Slovenian Alps, so it's time to meet our next 2 teams, table toppers FlightONE and the team at the bottom, Archangel.
Welcome to Slovenia, y'all.
According to one of the locals here, what we're viewing is about 1/3 of the country of Slovenia. So we have a pretty good viewpoint up here. I didn't think the last location could be topped in terms of the actual course, but they somehow did it. In race 1, we had good lap times, which gives me some confidence going into this race, but we didn't do so well ranking-wise. But again, our lap times are solid. We have the skills. We know we're up there with the top teams in terms of speed.
Race number 1, I kind of got off to a little cold start. My first race, I crashed into something hidden. I still don't know exactly what I hit. My first final came up, took first place. Second final came up, got another first place. So I feel like I kind of redeemed myself. It came down to the last race, and the guys were getting stressed out, and I just kind of kept them calm and said, guys, just want to have fun. If you just go and race your race, we'll be fine. What happened was they went out, they flew their race, we got a first and second place, and we won race 1. It was awesome.
At race number 1, I was probably the fastest, but we still have a bunch of races left to go. I hope to continue that trend because I'm a very competitive person and I'll do a lot to keep that title.
The ski slope is definitely intimidating. We're flying with a lot of altitude change, which is going to influence the battery discharge, is going to influence the propeller choice. We have so much work to do to make sure that we can even complete all the laps here.
This is a completely new style of racing for me, completely out of my comfort zone, but I think it's going to be incredibly fun.
Race 1 definitely was not a representation of how well we can fly as a team. And Slovenia, we're hoping that all of that is going to change for us. I mean, it's got to change for us.
I wouldn't say any race is going to be easy for us, but I think there's no race where we don't have a chance of winning.
So we are ready for the second heat. Archangel up against FlightONE. And there you can see it'll be Alex Vanover and Sean Taylor representing FlightONE, Adam Kiki and Nicholas Jung for Archangel. Top versus bottom in the season standings. And away they go. Pretty decent start for both FlightONE guys, but Adam Kiki has actually managed to slot himself into second place, has he? Yes. Up he goes, past Sean Taylor. So it is Alex who is leading the way, Adam in second, Sean in third. And here is our race leader, Alex Vanover, as he comes through to complete lap 1. Such a fast course this, and Adam Kiki comes into the pits then. So he's pitted at the end of lap 1, and that promotes Sean Taylor up into second place for the time being for FlightONE. Back on board with Alex Vanover. Who's going to pit next? Will it be he or Sean Taylor? It is he. So in comes Vanover. Kiki gets going pretty much as Vanover pits. The other Archangel is out meanwhile. So that's not ideal for Nicholas as we go on board with Kiki. He's got to push now to try and close in. Vanover gets going again. And he's still in front of Adam Kiki. As Kiki comes down and into the gate. Kiki's out of it. Both Archangels retire. Here's a look at the replay coming through this tricky downhill gate. Oh, just turned a little too soon. Clips the side of the gate and is out. So that means onto the final lap goes Alex Vanover. And the two FlightONE guys just need to finish, and then they will take maximum points. The team on top of the seasonal standings with a win in France take a win in their first heat in Slovenia. Sean Taylor across the line, and it's a second place finish for him.
Just chill it out and get some circles. Way to go, guys. Way to go. Way to start it off. Way to start it off.
That's how we do it.
High fives all around. A very impressive performance, but a rather despondent Archangel. Both of their pilots out of the race.
Way to start it off. Way to start it off.
Quite a way to start it off, indeed, Sean. He finishes second. Alex Vanover with the win, but Imi is with the Archangel guys, neither of who finished the race.
Well, no points for you. Andy, Nicholas. What went on, Nicholas? Kick it off.
So the start was pretty good for both of us, but then in the second lap I lost complete picture, I had a complete different picture, and I wasn't able to continue the race, sadly.
Adam, what went on then?
The first lap went really well, and then on the second lap, I swung a little bit wide on the second to last gate and hit it pretty hard. I wasn't able to continue flying, so that's on me. The video was pretty good. My flying wasn't.
So after 2 heats, it's a familiar sight. FlightONE are on the top, Archangel are on the bottom. They've got their work cut out if their fortunes are going to change. We've seen 4 teams race, leaving us just 1 team left to meet, NexxBlades.
Race 1 didn't go as well as we wanted to. I made some very stupid mistakes, which probably cost us a chance for the finals, but I'm back at race 2 now and I'm ready to shred it up. The Slovenian hillside is incredible. I love being in and around the mountains. It's an awesome location. Not many people have flown with the elevation change like this. I've done a lot of mountain flying with my drones, so I'm sort of used to diving down hills super low and things like that. But you know, there's some tricky turns where you're dropping down with an altitude change as well as a corner, which should be interesting.
So yeah, the strategy for the race 2 is probably quite similar as race 1. Focus on getting the points. Don't take too many risks unnecessary. Just make sure we're gonna get to the final and then go all in to win that final.
I'm super excited to race and break the calm of the hills with some shredding drones.
So it's time for Heat 3. NexxBlades there, rolling their sleeves up. They're facing the Rebels. James McGee and Cooper Groves for Rebel, Luke Bannister and Mac Poschwald for NexxBlades. Waiting for the race to start. Away they go. Very quick initial getaway. We're on board with James McGee, who's at the back. His teammate Cooper Groves got the best start, but all 4 of them right together as they come through the next gate, and James McGee is gone, so there's only 3 left in the race. Here we are with Luke Bannister. Second place at the moment, trying to chase in on Cooper Groves. You can see the red drone in there and collides with Mac. Cooper and Mac out of the race, and Luke Bannister now on lap 2 is all by himself. Here's a look at the replay. We're on board with Mac coming through the slalom section, and then it's this downhill right-hand gate 6. Bam! There's the collision with Cooper, the first mid-air collision we've seen. May well not be the last. On the final lap, Luke Bannister, he can afford to take it easy now because there is no one else out there still in the race. And it looks as though surely he's going to take the win for NexxBlades. A little inconsistent in France, but he starts Slovenia with a win.
The race is completed.
And a despondent look from the Rebels, who were so consistent previously, neither finishing Heat 3. So it's Luke Bannister who takes all 10 points, but a bit of an up and down race for NexxBlades, and Imi is with them.
Mac, what a disappointment. Lap 1 and a crash in the sky.
Yeah, exactly what happened. Yeah, because like there was 4 of us, all flying head to head, and then we had at the very last gate we had a meter with Coop from Team Rebel. So quite unlucky, but yeah, it's just a first race. We'll see where it goes.
So after Heat 3, there's not much change. FlightONE still lead, Rebel hold on to second place, despite that dismal performance. But they have had 1 more race than everyone else. So will this be the race that we see the whole of Team Uvify perform, instead of it just being Min-Chan who puts the points on the board? And can they mount any sort of challenge to the dominant FlightONE? Coming up after the break, see them go head-to-head with Archangel. Also see the return of the bigger, faster Pro Class drone, the evolution and the future of drone racing. See you soon. Welcome back to race 2 of the 2018 DR1 Champions Series. We're here in the Slovenian Alps, nearly 2,000 meters above sea level, and we're 3 heats down. FlightONE are already building a commanding lead at the top of the leaderboard, but there are still 7 heats remaining where anything can happen. In Heat 4, Archangel's Krvavec showed us what he can really do with a solid race win. But teammate Adam crashed out for the 2nd time.
Oh my God!
And at last, Corey Kasaba and Travis Ames put points on the board for Uvify with a 2nd and 3rd place finish. Next up was FlightONE against NexxBlades, and the impressive Alex Vanover made it 2 wins out of 2. And Mac was able to put his crash in Heat 3 behind him to finish in 2nd. NexxBlades were up again in Heat 6, this time against Archangel, and a formidable race from Luke Bannister and Young Rock's son won them the maximum 18 points. So we're over halfway through the heats here at race 2 in the picturesque Slovenian Alps. And away from the racetrack, Team Rebel have been using the altitude and steep ski slopes for a whole new type of extreme sport.
Yeah.
Well, luckily James recovered from his crash because it's his team due on track to face the current seasonal points and race 2 leaders, the relentless FlightONE. Over to Jack Nichols, who's ready to bring us the action.
Well, this is going to be a fascinating one. The finalists from France facing off against each other in Heat 7 here in Slovenia. Bryce Presswich and Cooper Groves for the Rebel team. FlightONE have Thomas Bitmatter and Sean Taylor going up against them. This is going to be an absolutely fascinating one. In head-to-heads, FlightONE are winning 56 points to 37 as the race gets underway. Through the first gate, and Sean Taylor disappearing up at the front. We're on board with his teammate, Thomas Bitmatter, who's down in 4th place. As Taylor comes into the trees! Sean Taylor out on the opening lap. He can't believe it. Hands on his head, and that gives Cooper Groves the lead for Rebel. Thomas Bitmatter now in 2nd place, and he is the one chance for FlightONE to try and take the victory now in this 7th heat. He's 2.5 seconds in front of Bryce in 3rd place, and he is right behind Cooper Groves, almost together as they come through that gate. You can just see Cooper there in the red drone in front as Bitmatter pits. So he's in for his 1 mandatory pit stop. Have a look at this. This is Sean Taylor coming in through that gate and then just thunders into the trees. Just loses control, and that's his race over. Yeah, thumbs down indeed. Cooper Groves finishes his pit stop, gets back on his way. He's still in front of Bitmatter. Bryce Presswich now is in the pits as they are onto the final lap. On board with Bitmatter, who's quite a long way in the end, behind Cooper Groves. There is the Rebel team watching on. Here comes Cooper Groves, and it is a win. It's going to be a 1st and a 3rd. Bryce Presswich had quite a long pit stop. Thomas Bitmatter comes across the line in 2nd place. 7 seconds adrift in the end. Fist bumps all around, but the Rebel team are going to be the happiest. A 1st and 3rd place finish for Cooper Groves and Bryce Presswich. Thomas Bitmatter in between them, picking up 8 points, but Sean Taylor out of the race on the opening lap from the lead. That means for the overall leaderboard, it's NexxBlades who are on top, FlightONE in 2nd position, and Rebel in 3rd, with just a couple of heats to go.
At every location, I'm going to be uncovering some of the technology involved in our pilot's mini-quad drones. At race 1, Corey Ibanez went 1 step further and gave me the controls, which resulted in there being 1 lost drone.
We may have lost it.
Here in Slovenia, it's the turn of 2017 DR1 champion, Sean Taylor.
So let's just get into this. This is the ESC, electronic speed control. This is what gives more or less power to the motors.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. This is the brain. This is what's going to tell this guy to give this motor more or less power.
I see, so he's almost like the muscles.
Yep, so you have the brain, the muscle, fingers, and then you have this here. This is the receiver. This is basically getting all of my direction from the transmitter.
The ears. Come on.
Ears.
This is a doctor's table right here. Okay, Sean, so we've talked about putting power into the drone, into the brain, the ESC, but how does that get there?
If we look at these batteries here, so we have a 5-cell and a 6-cell here. So this is kind of a big, huge argument amongst the FPV community, which batteries are best, 4-cell, 5-cell, 6-cell. In the end, it really doesn't matter, but you have to make the kV of the motor appropriate to the cell output.
Okay.
So basically, if I'm flying a 4S, I'm gonna fly about a 2300 kV motor for racing.
I would love to try and fly one again because last time I had Corey from Archangel help me out a little bit, but he did seem to take the controls and it just disappeared.
We're gonna
You're definitely doing it now.
No, this is all you.
Yeah.
So what I want you to try to do, I know it's really windy here, is try to hover it and keep it right here on the table. Just try your best. So you're gonna have some back input here. There you go. That's great.
Why is he still moving?
Your yacht. Less throttle. Just leave it there.
Well, again, sorry, I mean, again, the sabotage of the controls. What is it with you pilots? You can't stop playing with it when I'm playing with it, Sean.
When I crash, I get so mad. I just want to throw everything, but she does a much more graceful than I do, so.
It's all right. He has all his legs on.
Right, enough of that and back to the experts because last year's inaugural Champions Series was won by Team KDRA featuring an immense 13-year-old racing talent. A year on, this talent is reaching new heights, winning every heat he's raced in so far, scoring his team 40 points out of a maximum 40. He's now 14 years old, he heralds from South Korea, and his name is Min-chan Kim.
When people talk about Min-chan, they typically talk about the kid who shows up, wins, and goes home. The other side of Min-chan, it's this goofy kid who loves to have fun.
Min-chan is the youngest pilot here. He's only 14, but if you watch him flying, all of his lines are really planned. They're really smooth. It doesn't look like he's pushing himself, which is really scary.
He's got this really good way of finding flow and just taking the quickest line, always going 100% throttle. It's amazing.
Yeah, Min-chan is definitely one of the fastest pilots in the world. You will see it when you look at his videos. He has always the perfect line. He's flying super smooth and full send. He's always fast.
He's just like a little brother to me. Like anything that he ever needs from me, I'll always be there. You know, and I wish him all the success, but I don't need to wish it because his success is going to come. You know, he just works way too hard. He has too much talent, and yeah, I love the kid.
Well, in Heat 8 against NexxBlades, Min-chan's flawless record continued, coming home first for the 5th time in a row. His teammate Travis finished second, and a crash from Luke Bannister could have potentially ended NexxBlades' chance of reaching the Race 2 final. Rebel and Archangel were two teams that definitely couldn't finish in the top 2, and they squared off in Heat 9. Corey Ibanez recorded his second win here in Slovenia, but a crash from Nicholas Young meant that Archangel would again finish bottom of the leaderboard. So, with one more race to go, here are the current standings. FlightONE need 12 points to reach the Race 2 final, and Uvify 11. So both teams need both pilots to finish the race and score well. NexxBlades are currently top, and they're eagerly watching on.
What would you do in their shoes? I mean, do you think they might be working together to make sure they're both going through?
No, I don't think so. I mean, that wouldn't be a very sportsmanship behavior. So I think they're just gonna race, like they give it all in, and we'll see who's best.
So we're about to get going for the final heat. Both teams know what they need to do, both to finish.
Just finish, everyone, please.
That's what Alex is saying there.
Min-chan, do your thing, man. Do your thing, Min-chan. I am not sorry at all. I have zero sympathy whatsoever. It's part of racing, man. You're going first, then me, then Sean.
Well, that seems like a little bit of plotting there between FlightONE and Uvify. Alex Vanover certainly at the forefront of it. He and Sean Taylor there, set to go for FlightONE. Travis Ames standing, Min Chan Kim sitting down. And the NexxBlades are looking with wry smiles on their face. Will they be going through to the final? The final heat is underway, and only Min Chan heads off. NexxBlades can't believe it, because that is doing them out of a place in the final. Sean Taylor takes off as well. Then Alex Vanover departs. But Min Chan Kim, I mean, he's out in the lead of the race. He probably would be there anyway, to be honest, such is his rapidity. But that is pretty harsh on NexxBlades.
Uvify in first and fourth, and FlightONE in second and third is how it started, and it's exactly how it ended, guaranteeing that both teams finish joint top of the table. It's not against the rulebook, but not sporting behaviour, and really not good news for NexxBlades.
Guys, what's happened? Look, can you explain this for us?
They just were teaming, essentially, where two teams work together in order to beat another team. It's very unsportsmanlike to be teaming and to be collaborating with other teams in order to get the best outcome you want.
If they actually flew, there was a big chance that one of them would crash, and then we will be in the final. But that way they just split the points and, you know, just making sure they're going to go to the final. I don't think it's good.
Well, what do you think should happen next to resolve this?
I don't know. I mean, they can do what they want. I'm not too bothered about it. We've got more races to come up, so I'm going to come back even harder than last time.
All right, thank you, guys.
There you have it. With a first and fourth, and a second and third, the two teams tie on points and knock NexxBlades down to third, meaning the final of race 2 will be contested between FlightONE and Uvify. And two of the hottest properties in drone racing will go head-to-head, Min Chan and Alex. We'll also find out which two pilots will be racing this, the Pro Class drone, around one of the most picturesque racing circuits ever built. See you soon. Welcome back to the DR1 Champions Series, where pilots are racing mini-quad drones on stunning outdoor tracks around Europe. However, at every race, each team is putting forward two pilots to square off against each other, racing these, the almighty Pro Class drones. Measuring just under a meter and weighing 10 pounds, this drone can reach 150 kilometers an hour in under a second. Each winner gets the privilege of representing their team in the Pro Class final in race 5. Back in France, Archangel's Corey beat Adam by just 3 seconds. Here in Slovenia, it's Rebel's turn, and it'll be Bryce up against Cooper. Over to Jack Nichols with the action.
Well, really looking forward to seeing this Pro Class in action once again. And Cooper and Bryce about to go head-to-head. Away they go. Through the start gate. And off on the first of 2 laps. Cooper Groves gets the best start. We go on board with Bryce. These two have raced each other a lot. They know each other from Salt Lake City back in the USA. As we go on board with Bryce, a drone technician, trying to chase down Cooper in these much bigger drones. 10 pounds, do 0 to 150 kilometers an hour in 1 second. And they're a little bit more stable in strong wind, thanks to the fact that they're heavier than the drones we have seen in the main championship. But look how close they are there, coming through the trees. Bryce is in front now. Only a couple more corners to go, and there goes Cooper back into the lead. They sound fantastic as well, don't they? As they come towards the final corner, it's Bryce in front as they come across the line. 0.025 seconds between them. They enjoyed that one, didn't they, the two Rebel guys? But Bryce just about taking the victory. This is how close it was. Wow, incredible racing. And now they are down talking to Aaron.
That was intense. That was crazy. We had a photo finish. It was so close. You guys did really, really well. What was it like racing this around this track?
It was absolutely phenomenal. Honestly, I don't think there could have been a better pilot matchup either. We were so evenly paced. Jockeying for position with these bigger drones, it was pretty scary, but it was like nothing else. It was an amazing race.
That was so much fun. I'm like still shaking from excitement, like just pure adrenaline, so much fun. The passes were epic. Like you don't get those with the smaller drones as much. You actually had to know when you were gonna pass. It was crazy.
Huge congratulations to Bryce, who will be representing Team Rebel in the Pro Class final in 3 races' time. But now it's time for Race 2's final, which has exactly the same format as the heats. The team who accumulate the most amount of points over 3 races will be crowned Kings of the Hill and take home the maximum seasonal points. Over to Jack Nichols for the first of this eagerly anticipated battle.
So the collusion and conspiracy between FlightONE and Uvify sees them go head-to-head in the final. You just wonder if FlightONE feel Uvify are a bit of a weaker option. Travis Ames and Corey Kasaba are going to be lining up for them. It's Thomas and Alex for FlightONE. As the race gets underway, through the first gate they go, on board with Travis Ames. And it's a very strong start from Alex Vanover. He pulls away into the lead, pretty close for second place. Thomas Bitmatter we're on board with now underneath the ski lifts. You can see Corey right in front of him. As we go on board with Travis Ames, making his way up at the back, all the way up the ski hill and then back down again. Bitmatter trying to stay with him. On board with Travis Ames now, as he's involved in the fight. Corey Kasaba in the pits. Alex Vanover, he pits now as well from the race lead. Sean Taylor changes and Corey leaves the pits, and just as he leaves, Travis comes in. Alex Vanover back on his way and looking very, very much in control of this race. So away goes Travis back into the race now. He and Thomas are going to be battling it out for that second position once Thomas gets back in the air. Here they come. Oh, a little bit out of control there for Alex Vanover, pushing hard, manages to recover. He's on the final lap of the race, and there now rejoining is Thomas Bitmatter, and Travis is right with him. Very close for second place. Absolutely neck and neck. Alex Vanover takes the win. The battle for second is still going. Oh, that was Bitmatter crashing into the final gate. But it's victory nevertheless for FlightONE, who finished in second position. It was Travis Ames. Thomas Bitmatter, after ploughing through that final gate, records a DNF. And that could be key in FlightONE's final hopes, because that means that it is Uvify who are ahead, 14 points to 10. Not ideal for Bitmatter at the end.
Pretty much, I was neck and neck with one of the other Uvify guys, and I was just holding on, and so I made the call through the final gate that I was just going to open up the throttles and see if I could make it through, and just missed out. I'm going to do my best to try and bring it back for this race, so I think if we can get points back up on the board, we should have it, but it's just a matter of no more mistakes from here on in.
Time for final 2. Thomas Bitmatter and Sean Taylor for FlightONE going up against Travis Ames and Min-Chan Kim for Uvify. There's 18 points up for grabs for a first and a second, but second and third will give you more points than first and fourth. Final 2, underway. Up the hill they come for the first time. Min Cham Kim with his trademark good start, but not a trademark crash. His first accident of the season, and that eliminates him from the running. His teammate Travis Ames now in the lead. Sean Taylor misses that gate, that drops him a long way back, so it's Travis and Thomas, just like in final one, who are going to be neck and neck. Bitmatter 0.3 of a second behind Ames as it stands. They're 4 seconds clear of Sean Taylor. Can Bitmatter close in? On board with Ames. Lap 2 of 4. Travis Ames down towards the pits, and he decides to pit this time. So here comes the battery change, a check of the props, and he'll be back on his way. And actually, Thomas Bitmatter has pitted as well. So both of the front runners coming into the pits on the same lap, and Sean Taylor really struggling out there.
Thomas clear.
Who's going to get out first? It is Thomas Bitmatter. He's back on his way. Travis Ames still in the pits. That's quite a slow stop, actually. And that has cost Uvify a lot of time. There is Thomas, the Australian, working hard as he starts his final lap now. And he's got a fairly comfortable lead over Travis Ames in second place for Uvify. Sean Taylor back on his way as Travis Ames comes through the final couple of gates. He's not going to get close enough to stop Thomas Bitmatter taking victory in final 2. Alex Vanover delighted. Travis Ames across the line in second. And finally, in third place across the line, all by himself, Sean Taylor.
The race is completed.
And Min Cham Kim is off to get his drone. An uncharacteristic crash from the South Korean means he scores no points, and a solid first and third from FlightONE are going to be very good in their fight going into the final. Those 16 points from FlightONE take them from being 4 points behind to 4 points in the lead going into the third and final race of the day here in Slovenia. This is it then, the third and final race. FlightONE, Alex Vanover and Sean Taylor, 4 points in the lead coming into this final race. They are up against Uvify, Corey Kasaba and Min Cham Kim. Taylor and Kim, reigning champions. They were on the same team last year, but they're facing off against each other today. Away they go. Through the gate, and it's a really strong start for Vanover. We're on board with Kim, who is having to chase the man from Texas down. Who's that in the trees? It's Vanover! Alex Vanover out on the opening lap. He was owning this course. He'd taken 28 of 30 points available in the heats, and now he's out. Here's a look at the replay. It was through the left-hander coming into the woods, and just catches that branch on the right-hand side. On board with Sean Taylor. A little bit all over the place there as he comes through to start lap 3 of 4, and Kim is in the pits. So that means Sean Taylor moves into the lead of the race, for the time being at least. Over the chairlifts and, back down the hill. Oh no, out! Sean Taylor crashes out now. Both FlightONE competitors are out of the race. Here's a look at it again. Goes up high and then just comes back down. So you see something falling off as he hits the gate. And that is race over. So that means that both Uvify pilots just need to finish, and they will take the win in race 2 of the season in Slovenia. You can see Min Cham Kim giving everything a really wide berth, taking it nice and steady. His teammate Corey Kasaba still out there as well. You can see the deep breathing as Kim comes down towards the line and wins for Uvify. Here is Corey Kasaba now, just coming towards the line. Couple of turns and across the line.
The race is completed.
Uvify take the victory in Slovenia. A wonderful performance from them. FlightONE potentially thinking they'd be a little bit easier to defeat in the final. Didn't prove to be the case. Min-Chan Kim then taking the win. 18 points for Uvify, but a double DNF for FlightONE. Imi is with the winning team.
Uvify, congratulations. Min-Chan, you came in first.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I was so shaking my hands because last lap I was having my quarter problem, so I was so shaking my hands.
It's a phenomenal result because you're now second in the championship. FlightONE were more prepared to face Uvify in the final rather than NexxBlades, and now you're going to beat them.
Yeah, you know, they thought we were the underdog, and we were, right? But, you know, we came out from behind and got the win. So we're super happy about it.
So happy, so happy.
Yeah, they totally underestimated us. Like, they thought they had the win, putting us in the finals with them after what we did, but we ended up taking it, so yeah.
No one's going to want to be in the final with you in the future, that's for sure. Many congratulations.
Thank you.
So with race 2 here in Slovenia concluded, here's how the seasonal points table stands. That win for Uvify gives them 5 points, taking them to just 1 point behind FlightONE at the top. And at the end of race 5 in Croatia, whomever finishes on top of this table will bypass the quarters and the semis and guarantee themselves a place in the final, placing one hand on the trophy and being one step closer to winning the $50,000 prize. Next time, we're staying in Slovenia, heading 100 kilometers south and racing mini quad and pro class drones around this, the 13th century Castle Snežnik. Can Uvify continue this amazing form and knock FlightONE off the top? Find out at race 3.